In a quiet town nestled between mountains and sea, there lived a girl named Alina. She was kind and gentle, but her heart carried a deep sadness. Ever since her parents died in a storm, Alina had lived alone in a small cottage at the edge of the forest. The villagers often saw her walking through the trees at dusk, her eyes distant, her spirit heavy. One night, as a storm rolled in and the sky turned black, Alina stood by her window. Lightning flashed, and for a moment she thought she saw a figure in the trees. Startled but curious, she stepped outside with only her lantern. The wind howled and the rain fell hard, but Alina kept walking, drawn to the forest like a whisper calling her name. Deeper and deeper she went, until the light of her lantern flickered out and she was surrounded by darkness. In that silence, she felt something warm, arms around her, holding her gently, not frightening, but familiar. It was as if all her pain, all her fears melted into that single moment. A voice spoke softly in her ear, "You are not alone." Tears streamed down her cheeks, and for the first time in years, Alina let herself cry, fully, freely. In the darkness, in that mysterious embrace, she found peace. She didn't know if it was a ghost, a spirit, or simply a dream, but it didn't matter. That night, Alina returned home with a lighter heart. The shadows still came sometimes, but she no longer feared them. Because now, she knew, even in the darkest places, there could be warmth. She had found comfort in the unknown. She had found her embrace in the dark. Since that night in the forest, Alina's world began to shift. The air around her felt lighter, the trees no longer loomed with fear, and the shadows seemed to whisper rather than haunt. But one thing remained, the presence she had felt in the woods. Each night, as darkness fell, Alina would light her lantern and sit by her window, waiting. Not out of fear, but longing. She didn't know who or what had held her in the dark, but she wanted to understand it. One evening, as the stars blinked through a violet sky, a soft breeze carried a whisper to her ears. "Come back." With her lantern in hand, she followed the wind again into the forest. This time it felt different. The trees seemed to part for her, guiding her path. When she reached the clearing where she had once felt the mysterious embrace, the wind stopped. The night stood still. Suddenly, a gentle glow appeared. Not from her lantern, but from the ground itself. A small pool of light swirled and shimmered like stardust. And from it a figure began to form. Not solid, not ghostly, but something in between. It was a boy, young, quiet, and calm. His eyes held galaxies, and his voice echoed like wind through leaves. "I am Lior," he said, "a keeper of forgotten hearts." He told Alina he had once been a child like her. But after his village was lost in a fire long ago, he stayed in the space between worlds, comforting those in pain, guiding those in darkness. "You called out in your silence," Lior said, and I answered. Alina, stunned but unafraid, asked, "Why me?" "Because your sadness was not just yours, it was ready to be healed." From that night on, Alina and Lior would meet in the forest. She would share her stories, her tears, her hopes. And each time, the glow in the clearing grew stronger. Soon, the villagers noticed a change. Flowers bloomed longer, children laughed more freely. Even the wind carried a gentle hum. The forest, once feared, became a place of healing. Alina had found more than an embrace in the dark. She had found light in the whisper, and a friend who reminded her that even sorrow can shine.